Hello, welcome to Twist Gaming. We're live from PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, and we're here with IDW.
Yeah.
And we're going to be showing off. I'm going to pronounce this wrong.
It's okay. So it's called Daemon Trilogy Subrosa. So it's designed by Nate Wiseman.
All right.
And the art's done by Gusher Revolution. And then we have the app, which is done by Monaco Society.
Okay.
So it's a very cool. It's a card drafting game. And you know what? Funny enough, I can have Nate tell you all about it.
All right.
But it's
real quick, let's introduce ourselves.
Yeah, right.
I'm Josh. And I'm here with Ross from IDW.
That's
and
right.
Nate,
I'm Nate Wiseman. Yes, that's correct.
So you made this.
I did, yeah.
So tell us about the game.
Yeah, so mechanically the game is a drafting set collection screw your buddy game. So the theming is you're all playing noble houses that are competing and going to do different contracts to get one up on each other.
Okay.
They're all kind of nefarious deeds, from poisoning each other's pets to actually assaulting.
You're by that card can. So you put that just under that.
Yeah.
Right there. Oh, this is the worst one to show.
Oh, it's my favorite one. Turn it around. It's upside down.
It's upside down. This card is so sad.
Oh, it's my favorite card. It's kind of a dark humor universe. All the noble families captured a demon at one point in their past, and that's how they gain their power and they drain their life essence. So through the game, you're going to be hiring mercenaries to complete these contracts. You can kind of see on that card that there are 5 different types of mercenaries. And you need different amounts of them. So to kill a pet, you need 1 spy and 1 courtier. Courtier to let you in the door, spy to poison the pet. And you get 100 points for that one. So during the course of the game, you are going to try to accomplish as many of those contracts as you can without having any that you don't complete. Because if at the end of the game you have a contract that you don't complete, for example, if you fail to capture Reynard, you're going to lose half that points. So you're going to lose 250 points there. So it's a drafting game, so every round, players will simultaneously, from their hands that they're passing around the table, kind of like a booster draft, they'll take 2 cards, and they'll put them face down to build out their mercenary crew. Those crews are going to be what you use to both accomplish the different contracts, and then each mercenary also has a special ability. So in between drafting rounds, players can use those special abilities to screw with each other. And the different types of mercenaries kind of specialize in different types of things. So alchemists are kind of your healers and your defensive specialists. Knights are really good at killing people. Courtiers are able to force people into trades that they may not want to do. And pilots are better at moving cards around the table in interesting ways.
Okay. So let's do a short little demo with this.
Sure.
Let's see how this goes.
Usually you play with 15 cards, which we can do, or go fast. There's also an app component, which Ross can pull up here real fast.
You can throw that on the card cam, too.
What?
You can throw that on the camera, too.
Yeah. So it's pulling up right now. Look at how dirty my phone is. Wonderful. Look at that dirty screen.
Oh, look at that.
So we can go to New Story. Here's the cool little app for the Daemon Trilogy. So we go to New Story. Enter my name.
It's a brand new card, so just shuffle real fast.
That's fine.
So the app that he's bringing up adds a level of hidden actions to the game. So rather than having to take responsibility for the things that you're going to be doing, you can have the app hide who played what card, and it just reveals what has to be resolved. So if you choose, there's cards, for example, that say, like, choose 2 players, they have to attack each other and wound one of each other's crew members. I could play that card, and you wouldn't necessarily know if it was me or it was Ross who who played it, but you would know what you had to do.
Okay.
So 3, 6, 9, 12.
Right, so as he's shuffling down, it's pretty cool. So as the app's pulled up now, so I've plugged all 3 of our names in.
Okay.
Which we can we'll kind of mess around with it a little bit. But on my turn, you can see that we have a take a contract or use a crew ability. So I'll check out the cards that are in my hand, and I look at the contracts that I have as well.
Yep, so at the beginning of the game, you're dealt 3 contracts.
Okay.
It's like Ticket to Ride or other similar games where you can choose to discard up to 2 of them so that you have some control over how much you feel like you're going to be able to accomplish over the game. During the game, you can get more contracts, but there's always that balancing act of if you get too many contracts and you can't complete them, you're going to lose points. There are, however, ways to shove contracts off onto other players. So a popular strategy that's been being played a lot actually this weekend in demos is finding ways to give someone a contract that you can't complete right at the end of the game, so that they're stuck with losing some points right there.
Yeah. So after we look at the contracts I have, as an example, I could pretty much go. I'm going to go use crew ability. So as you see right here, it says a scan a card. So I have to scan the card, and so I have my card here. And I'm going to scan it. It might work under here.
I don't think you have it under the camera.
I don't have enough space. That's right. Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. So now it's scanned.
So you can discard up to 2 contracts. I'm going to keep all of mine because I think
so I'm
going to be able to accomplish those.
Okay.
That's my
So
card.
then from the cards in your hand, don't get too attached to those. Think of them as like a booster pack that's going to be passed around the table. So you're going to take it's really the mercenaries you have the option of hiring, not the mercenaries that are
cool?
currently working for you.
All right, so
Yeah,
I will
it's a
discard
super
one
cool
of
app.
these.
Yep. So you just put it underneath the deck.
All right.
So then I choose my ability. Oh, they showed it off. It's all good. So now it's Nate's turn. So then same thing. Nate will have to choose a contract or use a cruel ability. It's always fun to scan a card. Hand me a card, Nate. Or I'm just going to put the card.
Sure.
There we go. So Nate's got a card. That's the card he likes right there. We're going to scan that card. So I'm going to go use crew ability. Obviously, on Nate's turn, he would do this. I wouldn't scan his secret move card.
Yeah, so when you're using the app, actually, when you were playing the game, we would hand the app around,
Yeah.
and we would all scan our cards and then hit. It would resolve it afterwards. So the game is played in rounds, not really in turns. So there's a lot of simultaneous action. We're all going to draft at the same time. We're all going to choose what actions we're going to do, and then we're going to resolve those actions kind of in the same order.
So now it's been scanned. Da-na-na-na. Look how cool is that? That's super cool. So then I love her art there as well. All the art. Nate, art director and stuff, did a really good job with what's going on as where. And so we'll go with that's my card. And then obviously now we got to pick who that's against. So the card says, choose an opponent. That player must give one of their contracts to another player. So as we were talking about, where you can pan those contracts around. So it's Nate's thing. It's super fun. We're just going to pick Ross because why not? Boom, boom, boom.
And so this is the screen where it shows all the different actions. So it just shuffles them and puts them in order, and then it just reads out what you're supposed to do. So it changes and actually puts the player names into the text.
Very cool.
We'll do that.
Cool.
And then we just say, then from the air of the app allows us to either next round or finish the game, which is fun. Sorry.
Yeah. So do you want to actually play a hand in person?
Yeah.
Is that what you?
Sure. Like I gotta get out of this.
I think we can play without the app to show how it's done.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Cool. So now that we've looked at our contracts and chosen which ones we want to keep, you're going to look at your hand and choose which are the first 2 mercenaries that you want to recruit from that hand. And remember,
ones we're gonna keep
you're
on
going to
there.
keep. Yep. And those are the ones that are going to be working towards your contracts. They're also the ones that you're going to have the choice of using towards using their abilities of. So when you use an ability, you don't lose the access to the card. It's just on your turn, so you'll be able to use them multiple times. Yep.
Okay. So you guys know how I have that
card. Exactly. And so that's one of the things that the app adds, that level of secrecy, is that we wouldn't necessarily know what cards you have because we don't necessarily know what abilities you're using. When you're playing without the app, you have to kind of take more responsibility for how devious you're being.
Well, it's probably going to work best since we're streaming and we want to explain what we're doing.
Yeah.
The game is really fun either way, with the app or without, and it's...
All right.
Cool.
All right, so we're playing 2.
Yep, play 2. Then as soon as Ross figures out which ones he wants to play.
I got it.
Cool. And then we're going to select one of the 2 that we picked.
Oh, 2.
Yep.
Duh.
And now that we all have 2 mercenaries, we pick which one we want to use. We all reveal them. Since I dealt, I'm going to be first, and that's just an order of resolution. No matter what happens, you got to use your card. So even if your card was somehow killed, traded off your team, you still got to use the ability.
Okay.
So mine is I get to choose an opponent, and they have to give one of their contracts to another player. So I'm going to go ahead and choose you. So you have to give your contract to either me or Ross, and it can be any contract you want.
Choices,
I'll
choices,
give Ross
right?
this contract.
Okay.
Oh.
So there you go. And then it would be your turn. You use the same action.
Ross give one of his contracts to someone.
No.
So you can just give it back to me.
You
if
could be
want.
nice that way, yeah. So
If not,
it's another thing that is up to players, but how much table talk they actually want to get involved in is really up to them.
Right.
Yeah, you can negotiate trades, or you can just be like, here, no, you get that. Speaking of which,
So now my ability. So I've got Swindle. And I've got to choose an opponent. That player must give you 2 of their crew members, and you must give them one of your crew members, Nate.
so in this case, I have to give him both of mine,
Okay.
and he's going to give me one of his.
There you go.
All right.
And that would be the end of the first round. So then if you could complete a contract, so in this case, you would only be able to complete a 100-point contract, but if you could, you would reveal the cards that you had.
Okay.
Complete the contract, reveal the contract, and you would just take them all off to the side of the game, and they're out of the game, and they're just scored. So you don't have to score a contract right away.
And you complete multiple contracts.
You can exactly. So you complete as many as you want in one turn. So there are some people who like to play the game, and it's a little risky, but you can keep building up bigger teams to have better actions or more available actions, and then cash at the very end.
Okay.
It also is a way to hide how well you're doing. I was playing a game earlier today where we thought someone was really far behind. They cashed an 800-point and a 200-point contract right in the last turn, and they ended up winning. And it was like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah, so some of the contracts, so they go from 100 to
800. That's the range. And
what's the typical score at the end of the game?
It varies depending on how brutal people are being to each other.
Yeah.
So if there's a lot of killing going on, where there are a lot of people using knights, the scores are often fairly low because people aren't accomplishing a lot.
Yeah.
They usually range between 7,000 to 8,000 points as an average score. So most people, it's not uncommon to get a negative score. But that's really if players are really working to get you to a negative score. Like someone's done something to you to get you to a negative score usually.
Seems like a fun little game.
Yeah, so the core of it is...
And Ross, this is part of the trilogy, right?
So it's very neat, right? So it's a Daemon Trilogy. The plan for the series is that each in the world, right, has the cool little book facing, right?
Yeah.
So there are 3 games that we're looking to make in the series. And so each game will add to them as it goes on. So there's all these different houses that are vying for power in this world.
Okay.
So depending on how the first game ends, that will lead into how the second game begins.
Okay.
So some houses will have power, some characters will be in more control than others.
All right. So will they all be the same game, like expansions, or
they're all standalone games? So each game is very different, actually.
Right.
So
what you do in this game is going to affect the second game?
Absolutely. So looking at some of the contracts here that are examples, these, for example, if you want to use them over there.
Yeah.
So that, for example, Tick Tick's Journal is an item that is in the third game. So if you're able to acquire it here, you actually start the third game with it. Likewise,
you would be sitting down playing all 3 games in like a session.
Yeah, that's what they're designed. So each game plays from 30 to 45 minutes. So the idea is if you want to play all 3 in once, it's kind of the experience of a big box game.
Okay, that's fair.
And there's also characters like this, which are there's the 800-point contracts are all protect or kill a lord. So each player, when you're playing through the games, is playing the role of a house. So in this case, if I was playing House Millid, Byron is a character that I could play in the next game or use on my team. And if you had completed that contract, either during the game or between games, you can use that card as a negotiation tool of like, well, I can let you have him or I'm going to kill him before that game.
Yeah.
You might want to play nicer with me.
Right.
And so narratively what's going on is all these houses were at one point forced into the Empire, joined the Empire. The Imperial House is weakened. The Emperor was killed. His daughter has taken the throne. And the noble houses are starting to feel that they can assert their power over this Imperial family.
Right.
And so as they are rising up, bad things start happening and the world starts to crumble. So it's kind of the end of a golden age is kind of the story arc that's happening.
All 3 games?
That's correct, yep.
Awesome.
I'm showing off cool characters.
Yeah.
All right, anything else you guys want to talk about?
So along with that, IDW Games, we've got a few more things going on. So we just announced at the con that we're going to be doing a Joust game.
A Joust game?
Yeah. So along with our Atari Centipede and our Atari Missile Command and Atari Asteroids, we're also doing a Joust game.
Okay.
So that'll be pretty cool for all those nostalgia arcade junkies, right?
Yeah.
And then we also previewed a cool art poster for our upcoming Kickstarter in January. We're doing a Mask of the Red Death.
Okay.
So if you all know the Edgar Allan Poe, it's very, very, very cool. So Adam wanted to be doing that game as well, which is super fun. A couple weeks ago, we announced that we're going to be doing a Dragon Ball Z Perfect Cell dice game.
Ooh.
Cooperative.
Yeah, very cool co-op, a lot of cool dice mechanics, that kind of way. So it should be a lot of fun with that as well.
That's awesome.
And then we just finished up production for the pre-production copy for Legend of Korra.
All right.
So it was great having you guys check it out during the Kickstarter, which was super fun. And we should be, powering through with that very soon. And we just had a big update for it earlier this week, showing off all the cool minis for it. Yeah. Which is very fun. So yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff in the works. I'll also be gearing up for our 90s Nicktoons Nickelodeon Splat Attack game.
Okay.
So that'll have like SpongeBob and Rugrats and a lot of fun characters all having a big food fight.
All right, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, we got a lot going on.
Yeah, that sounds great. I want to thank everyone for joining me.
We're glad to be here, man.
Thanks for having us.
This is Twist Gaming signing off. I'm Josh.
I'm Ross.
I'm Nate.
Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
My mother used to say, always use your accessories to display the things you love. That's the inspiration behind the Tabletop Talisman collection by Twist Gaming. I worked with Twist Gaming because such a passionate group of people have brought together as many gamers as, well, just about anyone. My wish is that the Tabletop Talisman design becomes the universal symbol of gaming culture. Because with Tabletop Talisman, your love of gaming will always be with you.
I am Mike Live now. Okay.